Hi, I'm Quentin Schultze, author of the book Communicate Like a True Leader, as well as a professor of communication for many years. And I want to start out with a quote in this video. I don't usually do that, but I've got a quote here from Robert Greenleaf, who founded the field of servant leadership. And servant leadership really influenced my view of communication as servant communication. That's a different book than the one that I'm going to be quoting from here. But this is such an amazing quote. Listen to this and let it sink into your mind and into your heart a little bit. This is Robert Greenleaf. He says, "There are moments that contain eternity." There are moments that contain eternity. What in the world do we do with that? Now, I bet you have had moments in your life that are so meaningful, so emotionally powerful, so much touching deeply into your heart that they transcended time and place. They were beyond time and place. Maybe when you proposed to someone to marry them, or maybe the day of your marriage, or maybe at some point when you had a kind of aha moment talking with someone about changing a career, moving from this direction to that direction, and it was, wow, that happened to me. I was walking down a hallway in a building at the University of Illinois, and one of my former professors came along, and he said, "Hey, Quinn, what are you doing here?" I had just graduated as an undergraduate, and it was the beginning of the fall semester after that, and I said, "Well, one of your colleagues called me and asked me to teach a course, so I'm here teaching a course for you guys." And he said I could also take some master's courses if I wanted, but I don't know if I want a graduate degree. And he looked at me, and he said, "So you're here teaching a course?" He was very surprised. "And you're thinking about maybe getting a master's?" I said, "Well, just thinking about it." And then he said this to me. He said, "Well, why the hell don't you get a PhD?" And then he cackled and walked away. And I thought, what was that all about? I'm in the hallway in a building between class sessions, students going back and forth. It's noisy. And here's this former professor of mine that I'd gotten to know, and he said this one thing to me. Now, he was also my mentor when I was an undergraduate, and I trusted him. He always gave me solid advice, and he was willing to hear about my life. He was very interested in my life, too, so I trusted this guy. And when he said that, I thought, wow, why the H-E double hockey sticks don't I get a PhD too? Now, I had never thought about that. And suddenly I'm standing there all alone as the students are whizzing by on both sides, and I'm thinking about it. Wow. So I waited a few days, pondered it some more. I had never thought about going to graduate school. Even just being there to teach that course was an invitation from another former professor. And I went in to see him. He was a leader in my life, a mentor. And I said, "Are you serious about that?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Wow. Do you think I could do it?" He said, "Are you kidding me? You would be a better doctoral student than the vast majority of students that we have in this doctoral program." And it was not an easy program, and it was difficult to get in. I thought, he knows me. He has a kind of nearness with me. What do I do with that? And so I thought about it and actually pursued it and ended up getting the 2 graduate degrees, the master's and the PhD. Now, there was a bit of timing there in that. It's an interesting thing. We go back here to what Bob Greenleaf said. There are moments that contain eternity. There are moments where the timing is such that it makes a huge difference in our lives as leaders and the lives of those around us, those for whom we are responsible, because that's what leaders are, responsible for nurturing developing other people on behalf of them and the organization. So timing is so important. Think of comedians. Comedian comes out on a stage and starts hitting you with some one-liners or a couple liners or maybe telling a brief story. And sometimes they really nail it out of the park and everybody's laughing. And in fact, the laughter from joke to joke gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And you say, boy, they know their timing. And then think about other times where you're watching a comedian or a friend is telling a joke and it's a bomb. It just doesn't work. The timing is not there. Timing is important in the eternal sense of the things that really change our lives. And timing is important in terms of our everyday communication. When we should say what, to whom, and why we should. Now let me compare the comedian coming out on the stage and telling some one-liners to the TV show Seinfeld. I say Seinfeld because it's a well-known show. It's in reruns. Most people know about it. We know it's a situation comedy. Well, making a show like that, you have a terrific advantage because when you do each little part of it, each scene, you can reshoot it and get the timing just right and then edit it together. And so the show looks real polished and it looks like with all those bits that are funny, that they were done just right. Well, they were not all done just right. And sometimes it's take after take after take. I can remember being in Los Angeles and going to some of the tapings. It was videotape back then of some of the situation comedies and how they would have to do it again and again and again. And I thought, boy, this is tough work. In fact, life is tough work. For us to get the timing right takes some forethought. Because we might not get a redo and be able to re-edit it. We are like the comedian coming out on the stage each day. What should we say to whom, when, and how to get that timing right? Now, I want to conclude this short video with encouragement to you to consider the impact that your communication will have when you take timing into consideration. Sometimes we are impatient. We want to jump right in and say something when it comes to our mind. Maybe we're in a meeting, or maybe we're giving a speech and something comes to mind and we say, boy, I should say that right now, but maybe not. It takes forethought and it takes patience along the way. So we're analyzing the situation, we're thinking about the situation and wondering what we should and should not say in that situation. Because our redo, our going back and redoing the scene like on a Seinfeld, is us taking a second time to do what we decided not to do that first time because we thought it might get us into trouble. It might lead to an effect different from what we had hoped. It might offend people, hurt people, and it simply might be the wrong time to pursue what we want to pursue. The best leaders take timing of their communication into effect because it is not incidental. As Greenleaf says, sometimes the timing is eternal. It has major consequences on others' lives. And so it was that former professor of mine said something to me at just a time, he probably didn't even know it, that I was open to reconsidering my direction in life, having started teaching one course. And I became a teacher because of what he said on that day. And that was for good. And I thanked him for years for that. And he would just laugh about it. Because at the time, he didn't even know how important it would be. But when I went back to his office to redo the scene, and he said, you can do this and you can do it well, I had that affirmation to go forward. Thanks for watching this. If you want to get in touch with me, if I can help you with writing, consulting, anything at all, go to my website, quentinschultze.com, and you can get my email address there, personal email. And I hope you'll pick up a copy of my book, Communicate Like a True Leader. I'll put the link down below. It's inexpensive on Amazon. You can pick it up. And then send me a note. Tell me what you think. And any comments you have about this or my other videos, please comment down below as well. I'm grateful for you for taking the time to view this and to consider what I have to say, because if all of us consider timing more and are more patient and caring in our communication, we will all taste a bit more of that eternal quality that Robert Greenleaf mentioned.